Imbolc marks the turning point between winter and spring. The cold still lingers, but the light is unmistakably returning. As I stitch this part of the wheel of the year, I'm thinking about patience, about how growth often begins invisibly, beneath frozen ground, inside bare branches, in places we can't yet see. The 3 candles represent hope, renewal, and the quiet promise of warmth to come. Pale buds rest on winter branches, reminding us that life is already stirring even now. Imbolc is sacred to Brigid, goddess of hearth, home, creativity, and flame. Lighting candles at this time honors her fire and the slowly strengthening sun. This is not the blazing light of summer, it's gentler than that, a steady glow that says, "Hold on, spring is on its way." Food is an important part of Imbolc, especially dairy, a symbol of nourishment, care, and new beginnings. Today I'm making cheddar scones, a simple, savory offering for the season. Warm, grounding, and meant to be shared. They're finished with garlic and parsley butter, and those little flecks of green feel like a promise, a reminder that soon the world will be green again too. Imbolc invites us to tend our hearths, nurture our creativity, and trust in what is quietly growing. Even in the heart of winter, the light is returning. The scone is very good. It has Red Lobster biscuit vibes, but not exactly the same. But it has like the cheesiness and the butter and the garlic powder. Very good. So very hot. Now that my Imbolc snack is out of the way, I wanted to make a seed organizer out of this thrifted basket. in the years that I've been gardening, container gardening last year in the community gardens, I have never had a really good seed organizing system. This is it. Just sticking them in a Ziploc bag. I'll store them in the bag, and then I'll go through them and decide which ones I'm going to plant. I might put those in a separate plastic bag. So, like, I have bags within bags, and I need to take an inventory of my seeds, the ones that I have, and which ones. So, I need to decide which ones I need to buy for this coming planting season, and throw out the ones that are old. I Seeds are not overly expensive. They can get expensive if you buy a lot of them, especially from like a retail, like a Home Depot place like that. But I end up just using the same seeds year after year out of the same packet, even though the quality can degrade over time. So the germination rate might go down if you use old seeds. I haven't had too many issues with that, but it's still something to consider. So I just need to overall organize my seeds and throw out the ones that are too old that I don't think will work, and make a list of the seeds that I need to buy to get ready to plant for the coming season. I thought this would be a good Imbolc craft because it's like planning, getting ready for the next year, for the next upcoming growing season, but it's still very cozy and minimal in terms of energy. I got really lucky. So I was very inspired by some of the different seed organization techniques that I have seen. And I'll pop some pictures up, basically using like an old shoebox. Like, you can take that, put some cardboard dividers in it with some labels, because a shoebox is like the perfect like height to stand up seed packets, and then you can make your little dividers. So, but I don't have any shoe boxes, and not all shoes come in shoe boxes anymore. So my husband just bought new work shoes, and they didn't come in a shoe box. So I had to go looking for a box. I didn't want to buy something brand new when it felt like something I could DIY. So I went looking at the thrift store for some kind of box, like a decorative box, and I felt sure that I was going to find something. Well, I did not, but I found this basket instead. It looks like a little mini picnic basket. It has the handle, it has this little latch, and opens up. And so I feel like I got even luckier that I found something like this. The only thing I haven't actually measured is a seed packet would stand up in here, might be a little bit tall. So I've also considered laying it flat like this and making my dividers. I also got super lucky because I just broke off a piece of it. Ooh, hopefully it stays together. I have this box that is almost the same. It's like basically the same depth as this. I just broke off the handle. Okay, well, I had to fix the other handle anyway, so womp womp. That's what, sometimes we have to work through some things when you have thrifted items, so I just broke off that handle. But this actually has two handles, and the other handle is inside the basket, so I was going to fix that anyway. What I was going to say is I have this cardboard box that is basically this, like, similar depth to this basket, so I can create like a little line, not a liner, but like a thing to go around the edges that I can glue my dividers to. So it'll be similar to the shoebox scenario where you kind of glue dividers to the edges of the box. I didn't want to glue directly to the basket, so I'll be able to kind of insert my little dividers into the basket. And even better that it's the similar depth, because I won't have to make the corners. I'll just be able to, I will have to cut it down a little bit, but I'll be able to like cut the length and use the corner and not have to make corners on the inside. I think it'll make sense once I start working on it. But first I need to give it a little TLC and fix these little handle pieces. And I'm going to do that by using these cable ties, I'm just gonna stick them through in the same way that they are currently and hook the handles on, and hopefully that'll be more sturdy. They're black, which isn't ideal, but I couldn't find any that were like tan. So, but it's just that little tiny bit that's sticking out of the basket, so I think that will be fine. So let's get started on that. There we go. So now we have 2 working handles again. I am a little concerned with how many pieces are breaking off, but hopefully I just won't be too hard on it. Now I need to measure the inside of the basket and then cut my box down to size on the edges. And I'm going to use the flaps as my dividers. Okay. And now this will slot into here. Oh, I need to shave off a tiny. Nope, that fits. So there we go. So yeah. And then I'm going to do the other one to go around the other corner. And that's going to be the base for our dividers. Perfect. Perfect. Now our next question is if the seed should stand up. I think they can stand up because that will determine how many dividers we need. Yeah, so like it could go like that. And if they have to bend a little bit, that would be okay. Because if they go like this, then it would need to be only 2. Yeah, I think they can stand it like that. So we need to have 3 dividers. Okay. I think I'm changing my mind on vertical versus horizontal. So, because I need to label the sections, but if the seed packets are taller than the labels, then it doesn't help. So this would be 4 sections going back. And is there any point of having labels if the seed packets are already tall? Or do they go like this with, and then there's 2 rows, and then there's a label for each that goes like this? Or I just had an idea and I thought, so in the shoebox one that I've seen, they open the box sideways to themselves like this, and the seeds go this way. So what does that look like? It's like, let's take out 2 of these sections, and so then it would just be like 2 sections, and then they could stand up and go back. I think that might be the thing, because okay, so I've almost finished making my little slot. So what I did was measure out my sections equally, and then I cut an 1/8 of an inch notch in each one. So in the long one, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 notches. And then in the ones that are going to go this way, there's a notch in the middle. Now I just need to cut off this little section. And they'll slide right in. Hopefully, if I measured well, hopefully it'll be straight. Oh, come on. Okay, there we go. Okay, so far so good. Does this need to be turned around? Okay. There we go. And I thought I was going to have to glue this, but I feel like it's pretty sturdy, like because I've measured kind of pretty exactly. Now the only other thing I need to decide is if I'm going to do labels on each, or like make a little indentation for labels. And that feels like a lot. Because I'd have to, because right now I have it like even, where it's the same, like it's all one thing. And I didn't really take into account that I might be cutting it down lower. So if I were to cut like a little tab into each one going back, then I think I'd have to cut these down too, which is not bad. Kind of the labels would be covered up. So I don't think it would hurt to add some labels, but they're not going to be visible. So I don't think I need to add more work to make them look fancier. Okay. So I think I'm done. I think I'm done with this part, and I need to just organize and take inventory. All right, let's start with the ones that I've been using as my guide. English Daisy and Foxgloves are ones that I want to have in my front yard. Jamaican Sorrel, I'm going to qualify that as an herb because I use it to make tea. So I kind of put it in the medicinal category. I have these sugar, well, okay, that was an empty packet. Sugar baby watermelon. I don't know if I'm going to grow those again anyway. Basil. Pumpkin. These are small sugar pumpkins. These did not grow well for me. And the packet's all disgusting. Parsley. Dill. Serrano peppers. These grow really well for me. And I actually overwintered. I'm going to make a separate thing for peppers. Coneflower. Echinacea. Lettuce. This is something I did not do well with last year. I might try again. These are coneflower seeds that I saved a couple years ago. I don't know if they're going to work. Chives. Herbs. Garden bean. This is milkweed that I tried to grow. I don't know how this got cut. That's why it's in this little bag. I might try that. So milkweed. I'm gonna put that under flour. Jalapenos. Actually, I'm gonna get rid of these because these are mild jalapenos, and I did grow them a couple years ago, and I was very disappointed that they weren't hot. So, but I think I might have some other jalapenos in here. Okay, tomato, Roma. These grew really well for me last year. This is a mystery seed. I don't know what it is. Put that over here. Zinnia moonflowers. Grew well. I also harvested my own. Marigolds. Eggplant. Did not grow well for me last year. Basil. Cayenne peppers. I don't even know how long I've had these. It says sell by 2023. But the peppers that I dried in a video a few months ago came from these. So super sweet. These did well. Another basil. Cucumber. Collards. Okay, these are Hungarian wax peppers. And this is where the older the seeds get, the less they may not do as well, because these did not do very well. I may get rid of those. These are the jalapenos that I grew last year that did well, which I already wrote that down. Coleus, I loved these last year. I'm going to mark this under flour. unless I need to make another section for ornamentals. Zucchini. I'm so happy with how this turned out. It is exactly what I had envisioned, and it was actually a lot easier than I anticipated. I thought I was going to have to do some gluing. I have my hot glue gun that I was ready to plug in, but this turned out so well, and I'm thrilled with my little organization system that I've set up. And the one thing that is kind of the sticking point is that the seed packets cover the labels, but I noticed if I have them laid forward like this, then you can see the label for the other section behind it. But overall, it's not a big deal because they're organized, and I do have some free sections back here. So I kind of stuck my little milkweed one back here because it's bigger in the Ziploc bag. But these two sections back here are technically free, so I could, if I wanted to rearrange them or do them differently in the future, then I have a little bit of growing space. But it will, and I did have a little bit of trouble closing it, but I think it's just because these are kind of wide, so I have to just make sure that it can, when I close it, that I make sure that the seed packets are in far enough. But it's perfect, and I love it, and it's going to help me stay organized this growing season. And I took inventory of my seeds. So just to be transparent, I am overwhelmed with the idea of getting started on my growing season for gardening this year. And having my seeds disorganized was adding to my feeling of overwhelm. So having my seeds organized, inventoried, I know what I have. So I have my little list, so I can start going through it. And I think in a future video, I'm going to plan out my garden spaces because between two community gardens, I have 3 plots that need to be planned. And I have it in my head, but I want to get it on paper. So I think that's going to be my next video. So if you enjoy content like this, cozy, seasonal living, wheel of the year, witchy inspired, then I would love it if you subscribed and joined our little community here. And give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it to help it find other people who might also enjoy it. And I will see you next time, and I hope you have a blessed Imbolc.